Hello, everybody. weebrabbit here, and welcome back to the Otaku Overlord podcast, episode 57. This week, I am finally gonna get around to doing the fall anime 2023 roundup thing that I had mentioned for the last week or two. So that's pretty exciting. And we also have some pretty interesting news stories. Legend of Jonathan has some stuff that he's excited to talk about. So all around, I think that it should be a pretty good episode. I am excited to dive in. Before that, of course, the Legend of Jonathan is here. Say hello, and how have you been doing this last week since we were on last?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Little Jonathan. I've been pretty good. I've just been chilling and stuff, catching up with some stuff. What about you? How you been?
I have been pretty good. I was really trying to, put together, the podcast for this week, making sure that I had all of the anime. I was caught up on them so I could share them. I started watching some new anime as well, but you guys will hear about that next week. And yeah, it's been a bit of a slow month, but it looks like in a couple of weeks or even within the next week, it's gonna start picking up with some like new content, some new media and stuff. So I'm pretty excited. It's some good stuff. It looks like it's gonna be a strong start to the year already. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, same. I'm actually pretty excited too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. So I know that you have some stuff that you wanted to talk about. So if you are ready to begin, take it away with what you've been up to.
Okay, guys. So what I've been up to is I watched episodes 9 and 10 of Darling in the Franxx.
Nice.
Um, the way I would like mention 9 and 10 is that 9 is kind of just another like action episode where it's about fighting and stuff. It mostly focuses on Goro and Ichigo. Basically, they're fighting another like Calaxosaur, and I guess the Calaxosaur is this weird like jellyfish. Like it's like a jellyfish actually. And basically, what happens is that for some weird reason, um, like for some reason, like the thing can explode. And so what happens is Goro he ejects Ichigo to save her, so that I guess he can sacrifice himself and like I guess maybe he gets killed like supposedly, so it's just like one member goes down, that's kind of it. And what happens is it's weird because he wakes up and he just assumes that, oh, everyone's safe and I guess the battle's over, but then we find out not even like 2 seconds later that everyone retreated except him because the monster basically absorbed him
Mm.
and like he's in the core for some reason. And so what happens is that Ichigo starts worrying about him and telling him like, hey, like you're an idiot, that like why did you like let it absorb you, you had to sacrifice yourself for like me. And he just kind of mentions that like, oh well, you're my friend, all that stuff, and that I care about you guys and that you guys need to be safe. And then that's when he kind of just tells him not to worry and that he has a plan of how he personally will take it down. um and that basically while he tries to find a way to like attack you from the inside, that they just kind of stay put, and if the Calaxosaur approaches like the plantation, they start to fight it themselves. But then Ichigo's still worried, so she kind of worries for him and says that she's gonna go after him and like try to like get into the Frank to kind of like destroy it from the inside as well. And then the problem is they said like, oh well, how are you gonna be able to do that if there's no like way? We don't know. And that's where like 02, she's overhearing the conversation and she says that a way that she can get in is like through the top. For some reason it has like a mouth on the top, I guess. And that if she like jumps in, she can like swim to the core and get Franxx and kind of help out. And while all this is happening, we kind of see what Goro's thinking. And it's about how how he like loves her and all that stuff. And then basically we find out that how she has like the little hairpin on her head, that
Hmm.
that it's because Hiro had given her that when they were like little kids. But the thing is that Goro had made one exactly like that, and he was going to give her it.
Dang.
Yeah. And so he's sitting there and he's like, well, I'm gonna die. And he's over here like hugging like the pin against his chest. And then like as he's doing that, we find out that yeah, like Ichigo, after like showing some scenes where he's swimming, she ends up in the Franxx, and then that's when she's kind of like, no, like you're an idiot, like you should have just like not sacrificed like yourself for me. And so he's like, okay, well, like, now that you're here, should we just like,
Die.
well, no, like, should we take over the thing and just like destroy it from the inside? And so they're both like, yeah, let's do it. And basically what happens, they're able to actually like, destroy it. But then right after they get out and they're all exhausted, that's when Goro gives her his pin because she had lost it while she was swimming. And basically he's like, oh yeah, I was supposed to give you that pin because Hiro had given it to you, but I made my own one. And that's when he straight up just tells her that he loves her. And then she gets really embarrassed and she's like, you don't just tell me that up front like that. And then he's just like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, like I don't really expect a response. And then he just kind of passes out there.
Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
people can never, in these a lot of these shows, they can't just be direct. They can't just be upfront about stuff. They like skirt around it and all this stuff, right?
And this dude, he's the one that's like really upfront. Like he like straight up like,
And then she's like, no.
yeah, she's like, oh my God, you just do that. And then
And he's like, well, okie dokie then. And then he just passes out.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
if I
then
remember, this is a pretty big episode because not a lot happens in terms of like lore or stuff
it
like
really
that.
doesn't,
But it's
yeah.
just it's just a good episode to kind of move forward the whole, Goro's in love with Ichigo, but she's always like been only interested in Hiro and kind of a little bit of a love triangle there, and him finally like making his feelings known and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like
Hmm.
the purpose of this episode mostly. So
Yeah.
it's all right, I
Um,
guess. It's an all right episode from what I think I remember. I remember it being all right. It's kind of like,
yeah, I thought
okay,
it was all right.
we're getting more, the character, connections and all that. So, whatever.
Hmm. And I thought that was pretty nice. And then the 10th episode, it's about, well, actually, no, let me explain what the name of the other one is. It's called Triangle Bomb. And I guess
Hmm.
it does have to do with the whole love triangle thing. And then the other one kind of has to do with the fact that not only was he sacrificing himself, he was actually going to self-destruct himself. And so I guess that's another thing of why, because he has a bomb with him in a sense. Um, and then episode 10 is called The City of Eternity. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
that big
I think I remember this one. This one is like another really big lore backstory
this
one. Yeah,
one
yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically what happens is that the higher ups, they're called like the seven sages. They decide to reward like the squad 13 for like the fact that they've done like a lot of victories against the Klaxosaurs and all that. And that's when like they have the ceremony and it's all nice and stuff, but then it's like really short. And so the kids are kind of curious of why, like, hey, like what the heck? Like it was a ceremony so short and like, sweet basically in a sense. And then what's his name? That one dude, the one that's always like I don't even know how to describe him. He's always just like hyped up and he's always like a tsundere kind of his way, The Zorume, he's all
Jerome?
excited, huh?
Jerome?
Well, in the anime they call him Zorume.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forget honestly. I was looking at, what how they're spelled out and stuff. I would think it's Jerome, but yeah, I guess it's Zorome or whatever. But yeah,
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 Zorume.
because you say he's the one that's so it's not Goro, it's not the fat guy, it's
Yeah,
not the moody guy, it's like the hyper guy,
loud one,
right?
the
Okay, yeah,
loud one.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was Zorome or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And that he's like kind of like, oh, like I'm excited about stuff. And because he's exploring this big city, he's like drifts away. And he kind of just does as he explores the city, he's excited because, oh man, once we're adults, we'll get to live here. But then what sucks is that after he like drifts away from like the group and he's like exploring the city, he does see a citizen, like a resident, and he's like, hey, how are you doing? And like the person turns around, but then they ignore him and kind of like just keep walking. And so that's when he's kind of like, hey, like what the heck? Like that's weird. And then while he's doing that, he like falls down and I guess he hits his head. And then he wakes up later and then he's greeted by some woman that like saves him and like he's kind of starts questioning about like what's her life like. And then she starts talking about how her world's so completely different from his. And then how do you call it? She explains how like she has a husband and stuff, but it's weird because she doesn't hang out with him. He's kind of like wrapped in like a weird machine thing, and he's kind of like being like drugged to be happy, I guess. It's like kind of weird.
Yeah, he's in a give up machine.
Mhm.
That's what people call, and especially nowadays, with like the VR headsets and all that, and it's supposed to be like, oh, it's like you're happy in there because it's like everything's good, and it like lies to you, kind of like the Matrix sort of. And yeah, it's a
Yeah,
give up machine. You can just give up on
yeah.
life.
And so that's when like, like he's kind of like curious about that. And then she just keeps asking him this stuff. And then it's kind of implied that, yeah, parasites don't become adults because their sociology is kind of different from like theirs, like the adults and everything.
Yeah, because the
And
whole
then,
point of them being child soldiers, it's like they do something to make them successful child soldiers. But of course, the
hmm
kids don't know this. We know that they've been like kept in the dark a lot, and that kind of
hmm
explains why they haven't been taught so many things. Because it's like, well, why bother if they're probably just gonna like
die
die or
eventually.
whatever? Yeah, they're not gonna live very long. So oof, right?
hmm and so as they're like getting to know each other, he's offered snacks and like a bunch of other stuff, and he's all happy and everything. But then he kind of does it as he's talking to her. He tells her like, "Hey, like I don't like I have this weird feeling like I know you from somewhere." And then what's weird is that we get like a little sneak peek where it shows him as like a kid and he's crying, and he's sitting in a chair, and then you can see that it kind of cuts away to the lady, and it's kind of shown that like when she takes off her outfit, she's like an older lady, and she has like the how do you call it? Like she has like marks on her face, like stress marks or anything.
Mhm.
And that's what she says, like something like, "Oh no, I think you confused me for someone else." So it's kind of implied that I guess maybe she did take care of like the parasites at one point. And so like yeah, like what I mean? It's kind of weird. And
Yeah.
then not that long after like she hears like a weird noise go off, kind of like an alert. And that's when like the authorities arrive. But then like the problem is like the authorities treat him like he's kind of like a threat, like he's like an animal or something. And then like I remember like one of the dudes even says he's like, "Stupid kid, you better be staying away from that lady or else you're gonna give her an infection or something like that." And like the other guy even says something like, "Oh come on, he's just a kid, like leave him alone." And like it's kind of implied that like even though like they're protecting them, they don't treat them like they're like these saviors. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird too.
Yeah, they just
Um,
use them as tools, basically. They're
yeah, they
just
see
to
them
be
as
used.
tools.
They used to be used as tools. They don't want them around the general populace. They've obviously experimented on them. They keep them in the dark about a lot of stuff, and that's why they reward them, but it's only here and there to like kind of keep motivating them. And it's like a super screwed up system, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, because like especially if like the ceremony is that short, it's kind of weird because it's like, what was the point then? Like, you just congratulated us and then like just kind of tell us to like f off and leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, after that, after like they pick him up and everything, um, they send him back, and that's when he kind of spends the whole like next days kind of wondering why that lady was familiar. But because he kind of gets immersed in like the activities with his friends and everything, it's like he like forgets her like really quickly afterwards.
hmm
Yeah, it's actually a really sad episode actually.
Yeah, it's pretty screwed up because this whole time, these kids, they're growing and they're trying to discover who they are and looking forward to becoming like adults and, finding peace for their world and all this stuff. And it's really sad to see that, yeah, they're just kind of being kept in the dark and being used as tools. And like, the fact that they probably, it's like you guys aren't going to grow up because you guys are like made differently. That's why you're so successful as these like child soldiers. And, all this stuff is like super screwed up. And then, I think, yeah, I don't remember if they ever explain what's up with this lady. I think it's implied, like you said, either that she like took care of them maybe when they were younger, the parasites, or maybe that she's even like his mother or something. I think is the implication
That's
there.
what I was gonna say too. I think that's supposed to be like the implication or something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But like the whole system's just screwed up. And then yeah, it's just screwed up too that these adults, it's like super weird because like yeah, like the ladies just kind of live alone and they like take care of like the men, and the men are just like strapped into those like give up machines, and like they just like live attached to those, and it's like super weird
Yeah,
too.
so they're like
And
experiments in a sense too, which is weird. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know if it's just supposed to be like some sort of commentary, social commentary about like, the society where like, oh, like the husbands are too like engrossed in their own thing and just like ignore the women or something. Like it's like a weird sexist thing. I don't know. I feel like there's maybe some commentary there. I'm not too sure. But then
Hmm.
again, I don't know because like I said, I feel like there was a lot of things that I thought would be commentary in this series, and it seems like they went nowhere. So I'm not too sure either way.
Yeah, and it
But
sucks
still, yeah,
too.
it's like just really weird. It's like really screwed up. And like I
Hmm.
said, it's really sad, honestly.
It really is, and it sucks too because he's like the one that's always the most enthusiastic about being like a parasite and like all that stuff, and like him growing up. And he even tells the lady, he's like, "Hey, like when I grow up, like I forgot what he says, but I think first he wants to say that he wants to live with her because of how she's been really nice and fun to him. But then
Hmm.
he kind of changes his mind. He says, "Oh, like will you be like my friend when I grow up?" And she says something like really harsh, where she's like, "I doubt that like you'll ever like see me if you do grow up or something like that."
Yeah,
And so it's kind
dang.
of like that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Jeez. It's pretty screwed up. Yeah.
yeah.
Oof. So yeah,
That's
just a lot of world building and character moments. It continues to chug along. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a shame because all this stuff is like so good so far. And yeah, you still have a few episodes to go before I feel like yeah. Let's put it like
I
that.
already feel like the episodes after this one, from what I've seen, that's where it starts to go kind of downhill. Like it starts to get kind of weird.
Oh no, no, no. It reaches like its peak at a certain point, but then it goes down after that. So you still have some good stuff left.
Okay. Um.
Oh,
And
and what was
yeah.
that? Was that it? It was just those two episodes for Darling in the Franxx.
Of Darling and Franks, yes, I did watch something else though. Hmm.
Yes, continue.
Oh, right. Sorry, it's because um, I watched because I had mentioned it last week. I watched Urusei Yatsura season two, the new one.
Yeah.
I watched. Well, I mean, it was only episode one, you know. I watched it. I thought it was pretty good. The first half, I don't remember if it was in the well, in the manga, I think it probably was. In the original anime, I don't remember ever seeing that ever, actually. Like that first half.
Mm.
Basically, for some reason, that like giant cat, the coats. Oh man, I'll just say Neku, the Neku cat. It's hanging out with 10, and they're both like for some reason he's chewing like a gum, and somehow like when you blow it and you use your imagination, I guess you can make stuff come to life using it.
Not
And so
weird.
what Ten was doing is he makes like a missile, and he like blows the bubble, and it like flies off somewhere, and then Ataro shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, wow, Ten, what are you up to? And he's like, oh, I'm just like playing like bubble gum that like makes things come true or whatever. And he's like, oh, so like this missile right here, um, don't tell me that it was coming from like that, was it? And like I think he gets kind of pissed, like saying like, oh, I already knew you were planning on like trying to attack me from afar, you know. And so he chases him down, and then afterwards he steals his gum. And obviously, Ataru's number one plan is that he's going to use the gum to get himself bitches, basically.
God.
Yeah, like it's dumb. And so what happens that from there, basically Lum finds out about the whole thing about how he stole the gum, and obviously she's gonna try to make him pay for like the fact that she stole from her like nephew, basically. Oh wait, nephew? No, cousin. And then the thing is, like, she goes to chase him down, but on purpose, he starts blowing the bubbles in front of her and doing the stuff. And then like he kind of uses it on purpose so that it's like distractions for her to like blow them up, and then she can just like get away and keep running off. And there's a point where he like makes a lightsaber just to fight Mendo for a few seconds,
Oh
and then
God.
Mendo tries to slice through like his sword, but then he slices it in half. And then what's dumb is that he pulls out a nerd katana, and then the kids are like, "Really, dude? Like you're that much of a sore loser that like you're just gonna pull out the other one, even though you always talk about how you fight with honor and that you have to how do you call it, admit defeat and all that stuff." And then at the end, he tries to make one giant bubble, like a spirit bomb, where it's like a bunch of the girls from like the series. But then that doesn't work because they pop the bubble on him and they catch him, and then they beat him up at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, so they beat him up at the end. And then the second half, I've mentioned it before, but there is one scene that I think two scenes that I think they better adapted this time. It's the episode where Lum, she forgets how to speak Japanese for a bit because Ataru, he had grabbed the rice cooker and threw it at her head.
What the
And
hell? What a
it's 'cause he,
description, man. It's so
yeah,
random.
it's because he was trying to fight 10, and then he got mad at 10 and he grabbed the rice cooker and tried to throw at him. But then 10 dodges and then like it hits her in the head.
Hey, man, domestic violence isn't funny.
I'm sorry, it's just I don't know, bro. That's why I started laughing after that. So after that, it shows that like Lum, she's all like dizzy, like you can see her eyes are all spinning everywhere, and she has like the little stars spinning around her head, and it's funny because her eyes look funny when when she get like you see the little hit on her head, and I thought it was more funny than like the original anime because in the original anime I feel like they tried too hard to try to make it funny and look like I don't know, like they got rid of her pupils and kind of replaced it with like scribbly lines. And
Yeah.
here they made it look more Looney Tunes where it's like the actual eyes are moving around.
Mm,
And so I thought that was pretty funny. And I guess I forgot that that happens, you know. And so I
yeah.
started laughing. And then at the end, I thought it was pretty sweet because in both the manga and the anime, since Ataru, he tries to cheat on her and all that stuff, but then like, she can't really do anything, so she kind of just runs away for a bit. In that like original adaptations and stuff, he would just kind of cry on her lap and like say that he wished that she would speak Japanese and stuff again. But here they kind of changed this to that. At first he kind of asked her like, hey, like can you like please like respond back? And then she tries to, but it doesn't work. And so he hugs her from behind and he starts crying. And then that's she kind of feels bad. So then that's when she finishes up like whatever she was working on. And it's revealed that she was making like an Oni language to Japanese translator. And so whenever like she talks, he can hear it through like this weird alligator mouth thing he's wearing. And then whenever he speaks, it translates to her language so she can understand him.
Huh.
Yeah. So she like made a full-on translator basically.
So she never actually learned Japanese again.
No. She does. It was temporary. It was just for like that
Oh,
week. Because
I thought that was like the solution. Like she never did learn Japanese again, but at least there's a translator now. I was like, damn, okay, that's kind of weird.
no, the Sakura, the nurse lady, she mentions that she's
The
like,
one
oh
from
yeah,
Naruto?
no, oh my God, I knew you were gonna say no. She mentioned she's like, oh yeah, like at that like her losing her memory of speaking Japanese, that's only temporary. Like in like a week or two, she'll be able like speak it like normally again. And then like for like a whole week she doesn't speak Japanese, so that makes everyone worry.
Hmm.
And then like but it is implied though like that I guess like the week afterwards like everything went back to normal basically.
Oh, I guess. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
seems kind of like convenient, but sure, why not? I guess
Yeah, right.
that's fine. I guess that's cool. All right, whatever. Yeah. So
Uh
how many episodes is it supposed to be this time around? This second season or whatever.
I think it's supposed to be like 24 episodes again.
Nice. And you said that was all that was gonna get, right? Just two seasons, 24 each.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's pretty much I do know some of the OVA stuff is going to be adapted in this remake like in this
Yeah.
season. So I am pretty hyped about that.
Nice, nice. All
Hmm.
right. So yeah, I mean, it's just gonna finish the story. It's just gonna do it a little quicker this time, and like 48 episodes versus like 100 and something, I guess. Then,
Oh my God, yeah, that was a long journey.
Yeah, I got you. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool that you're enjoying it so far. How are the openings and endings this time?
Oh, they're really good.
That's cool.
Um, like there's not really much to describe except they kind of just show the new characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the only thing I will mention is they kind of use the theme of doors more. And there's a reason why I mentioned that they use the theme of doors more. It's because in one of the OVAs, this character's his name's Inuba. He's kind of like this blonde dude that he kind of travels through doors and like dream a bunch of other stuff. And he has like a rabbit suit on. And the reason
Okay.
why no, yeah. And it's because I guess he's like a part of some weird cult that he was forced into. And I know it's such a weird
The way you
series.
describe it just makes it weirder
Yeah,
and weirder.
yeah. What happens is that he's basically supposed to be Shinobu's like actual love interest by the end of the series.
Oh, interesting.
And that's kind of the reason why the series ended anyways, because Takahashi wanted Shinobu to have like a boyfriend that actually worked for her. And so when that actually happened, she was kind of like, what's the point in the series if she was like character I liked the most, basically, you know? And
Oh, like the love triangle, whatever you want to call it, wasn't really there anymore, sort of thing.
yeah, because before it was Lum, Ataru, and then Shinobu. Then it was Ataru, Lum, Mendo, then Shinobu. And I guess because like Mendo kind of wasn't working out, I guess purposely she's like, okay, well, like now we just need to go back to the scratching board again. Like I can go back to like the first thing, or I can just go straight to like a new thing that actually will work. And I will be more like, I will enjoy it more,
Yeah, I
And
got you. I got you.
and so when that happened, yeah, she made that dude. And the reason why I like him a lot is because like he's actually the only male character that I actually enjoy seeing in the series. Like he's not a perv or anything. And
Then
two,
what's the point?
oh god. And two, he's voiced by Sora's Japanese voice actor.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's cool, right?
Nice.
So
That's pretty cool.
not only do we have Mendo who's voiced by Riku, we have this guy who's voiced by Sora.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
and they both dated Shinobu. So that's actually kind of like
That's
that's actually
funny.
funny.
That's actually pretty
Uh-huh.
funny. Yeah, it's funny when you see a lot of the same voice actors work together and stuff, and like it
And different
happens,
stuff.
both
Yeah.
in English and like and Japanese and stuff, and like it's pretty funny
Hmm.
seeing that. Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Was that it for you? Was it just the Dolly and the Franks and
Mhm.
just the Urusei Yatsura season two? Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
For me, as I said at the very beginning, I am gonna do the fall 2023 anime roundup sort of thing, but I think I'm gonna save that until after the news. So the only thing I'm gonna throw out right here during this part, because I feel like it doesn't really fit with the rest of their anime, because it wasn't really an anime from fall 2023. It just kind of came out at the end of December. And it was like this TV special, so it feels kind of odd. So I feel like it would be kind of odd to throw it in with the other stuff. So I guess I'll just mention it here. Um,
Yeah.
I watched Burn the Witch number zero point 0.8, which, yes, that is a really, really weird ass name. That's just what they called it. And the reason for that is that it's supposed to be kind of like a prequel to the 3 episodes slash the movie that we got before. So that's like a weird situation, obviously. But basically the way it works is that I don't remember if I talked about it on the podcast. I forget what point maybe I talked about it. Maybe I talked about I did talk about it. I don't remember. But basically, from the same guy that made Bleach, Tite Kubo or whatever his name is, I think that's his name. He also created this one-off called Burn the Witch. And it's really interesting because it's actually supposed to take place in the same universe as Bleach. So the whole point of Bleach is that, there's, modern day Japan, and
Hmm.
then, there's Soul Society, and Soul Society is, like the other world, and it's supposed to be based off of kind of like what do you call it? Like old school Japan, right? I can't really think of like what, period you would call it, what era, but it's old school Japan. And Soul Reapers are supposed to be kind of like samurai, right? And they have like their
Yeah,
squad
yeah,
set
yeah.
up, all that stuff. And it's kind of funny because for the whole time you kind of just thought that was it, right? Like it's just the Bleach universe, that's it. And then out of nowhere, TT Kubo, he's like, nah, there's this one off, and it's called Burn the Witch, and it takes place in the same universe. And basically, while Soul Society and Ichigo and all his friends, all that stuff, they take place in the eastern part of the Soul Society, east part of the world. There's like a western part of it. And that's where Burn the Witch takes place. And it takes place in something called Reverse London, where the point is it's similar to Bleach, where there's these, Shinigami and they
Yeah,
fight all of these, different evil spirits. There are these, I forget what they're called here, but they're witches, right? They call them witches, and they have a specific name I can't remember at the moment. It was like Pipers, maybe, or something like that. I forget. Like they have like their whole lore and stuff, right?
yeah.
And basically like these witches and stuff. And in Reverse London, um, they help to fight dragons. Because even though people think that they're like these fairy tale creatures or whatever, dragons are the ones that they cause a lot of deaths. And basically, when they come in contact with the humans, they absorb their like negative energy and all this stuff. It's like really crazy, but it has like its own
That is
lore, which is
pretty
like really
crazy.
interesting. And basically, in the past, back in, I think it was like 29, no, it was 2020. Back in 2020, we got, the movie that was like a three-part, thing when they converted it into like anime episodes, and it introduced that, our main characters, their names are Nini and Noelle. And Nini, her name is Nini 𝐦𝐚𝐧𝐭. She's part of like a popular girl group, in the regular part of London. But, in real life, her undercover thing is she actually works as a witch, and she's teamed up with Noelle. Her name is like Noelle Nihashi or something like that. And Nini, she's like blonde, and she has like pigtails. And Noelle, she has long black hair. She has like a little clip in her hair, or whatever. And they're like very different in personality. One is more abrasive, one's more like calm and stoic. That whole red Oni blue Oni thing. But they're partners, and basically, introduce the whole concept of reverse London and witches and all that stuff. And this new episode they released it like on December 29th or something like that. It was near the end of the year. And basically, it's supposed to be like a prequel to like the movie slash three episodes we got earlier. And it kind of shows, um, it's interesting because you would think it would show how they met and stuff, but not exactly. It just showed that they were like trying to get some like work experience, and they were busy in reverse London, on the other side doing like some labor. And then there's this guy that Noelle knows, that his name is Balgo. And I guess he's always like perving on her, right? He's always trying to like see her panties. That's literally like the whole joke, right? He's always like
Yeah,
chasing after her. And she's always, telling him no. And she's like, running off to like do her job in reverse London, blah, blah, blah. And as he's like, upset because he wants to like really like get to know her and get with her, blah, blah, blah. He's hanging out with like this friend of his whose name is Shelby. And then suddenly his little tiny dog, oh, Sushi, like a dragon pops out of it.
what
And
the
then
heck?
I won't really spoil it, but the whole point is like a dragon pops out of it. And so like the girls have to come fight it. And then it reveals something about Balgo, and all this other stuff is happening, blah blah blah. And it kind of sets up the whole point that in the original, movie slash three episodes, he has like this weird connection to dragons, and they're supposed to be evil, right? They're like evil spirits. And it's
Yeah,
kind of like, where did that come from? And here it kind of introduces what ends up happening, that he ends up becoming, connected to like the whole dragon thing. And that's why Nini and Noelle, they're keeping an eye on him, and he has that connection, and he's kind of helping them sort of with like their whole job of fighting dragons. So this is
yeah,
kind of like a prequel that sets all of that up basically.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty weird because it still feels like there's like some stuff that's missing, right? Like the other three episodes, it gave us like this little like story arc, but we still don't really know like where all this started. And then this kind of takes like a step before that, and it sets some stuff up, but still like we don't really know, when Nini and Noel met. We don't really know how Noel met Balgo or any of that. Or at least not that I remember. I mean, it's been a while since I watched that original movie in three episodes, but from what I remember, I don't remember it really setting any of that stuff up. So I don't know. It just still feels like they're kind of just like putting pieces together here and there. And it really sucks too, is they're really short. You know what I mean? Like if they're really short, it's just kind of like, oh, here's three episodes. They're each like 20 minutes. And here's another episode, like 3 years later, it's another like 20 minutes. And it's like, dang, I think it's because he's like really busy with Bleach. I feel like he's kind of making Burn the Witch really slowly. But I kind of hope that we get like a full actual thing at some point. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's pretty interesting. I like the lore. I like the world building and stuff. The characters are interesting and their powers and everything. It's just one of those things where it's like, dang, I kind of just hope that we get like more of it because it feels like we're kind of just getting little breadcrumbs here and there. And it's kind of like, I would like a full blown, series and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, to be fair, I haven't really looked up any of the manga. I don't know how far ahead it is or how well developed it is, but maybe I'll pick it up at some point. But yeah, it would just be really cool to see, more of this world and see if they ever really tie it together to Bleach or anything, you know what I mean? Because like, yeah, you've never really heard of them, really interacting. Like Bleach, I don't think they ever even like mention this part of like Soul Society. So it's really interesting to see, like, no, it takes place in the same universe. So interesting stuff, It'll be interesting in the
Yeah.
future to see where this goes. And I don't know. Because I know the one that comes to
Alternate.
my mind, I know that before Little Witch Academia got the anime adaptation, it had like some movies and like one-off
Hmm.
stuff too, before it
Hmm.
like actually got like more, by made by Trigger. So maybe this will be like that, or maybe in the future we'll get like more of an actual, series or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just hopeful thinking, but I guess we'll have to wait and see,
Yeah.
But I recommend it. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's pretty good. And it's only like, this time it was like one episode, like 20 minutes. Before that, we got like three episodes, right? Like in the form of like a movie sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's an easy watch. So it's easy to get into and I think it's pretty good. And it's on Crunchyroll, so
Nice.
it's easy to access, But I'm definitely interested to see where this goes in the future and how it develops. So,
Nice. That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That's it for me though. Like I said, I'm gonna after the news, that's where I'm gonna get into my anime roundup thing. So that's it for me for my week, because like I feel like that didn't really fit anywhere. So jumping over to the news, this first one is a really interesting one. It's a kind of sad one because it's kind of you kind of really see,
Yeah.
change and time doesn't stop and I don't know, we kind of talked about it before. It kind of sucks for stuff that you're really used to. It like changes so much and evolves and we'll get to that in a moment though. But as the title of the article states, fans say goodbye to MatPat after he announces retirement from YouTube.
Yeah.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, somehow, there's this guy. His name is MatPat. And years ago, he is basically a YouTube OG almost. He created this thing called the Game Theorists, game theory. And he basically did all sorts of theories and all sorts of, lore deep dives and, all sorts of math calculations and science and all sorts of stuff about video games. And that was like where he started off. And as he grew in popularity and he, like got more and more subscribers and more attention, all this stuff, he opened more channels. So it was, game theorist, movie theorist, food theorist, fashion theorist. And it's always,
Hmm.
him just looking at all of these different like ideas and like common, myths about stuff and trying to like debunk it or like I said, lore analysis and, all sorts of really interesting stuff, right? And the thing that really got him famous, really popular, is that all of those, things like FNAF was like the really, really big one. Stuff like FNAF and all of these other, like mascot or like horror series, stuff like that. He was the one who would really do like a lot of those like lore analysis and like deep dive explanations and stuff. And that's what made him like really, really blow up. And yeah, it's really crazy because he's been on YouTube for a long time, like 13 years. And
Yeah.
basically, this last week or whatever, he just put out a video where he's saying that, yeah, he's basically like retiring soon,
Hmm.
that his channels aren't going away. A lot of the people he's had on, doing the writing and, sometimes you hear their voices. And I think he's had them on, live streams and stuff. Four different people are going to take over the four different channels and he is still going to be around doing some of like the writing and behind the scenes stuff but basically his role as it was up to now where he was like the host of all these shows and stuff and like leading them he's basically stepping down which is like really crazy
Yeah. It really
and
is, man.
yeah and it's one of those things where even if you're not like a huge fan of his you're not really into his content or any of that it's still sad to see him go because, like I said, he's one of like kind of like the OGs. Like, he's one of like the huge channels that really started YouTube, and he's had like a big part on it, and he's had a lot of like influence, and a lot of people, that's what they say, like it's just the theory, because of him and stuff like that, right? Like he's had like
Hmm.
a lot of influence, and he's like done so much for like the site, the platform. And it really sucks to see him say that he's gonna like step down. And like I said, it kind of ties into what I was saying about how it kind of sucks, how everything changes, and we see platforms evolve in one way or another over time and stuff, that like a lot of people, he's not the only one, a lot of people within like this last month, they've been saying that they're gonna step down. And he's not the only YouTuber to
Hmm.
say it.
There's
And
a
it really
lot.
sucks that, a lot of YouTubers are kind of coming and going because, like, number one, they're tired after like working nonstop to like grow their brand and stuff. All these years, they're tired. It's been like nonstop work for a long time, and I guess they feel like they're in a place where they feel comfortable with stepping down and maybe doing more of a manager role, or saying I'm fine, I've done everything I wanted to, that sort of thing. And then the other thing is just that, like, yeah, YouTube just kind of sucks when it comes to what it used to be. Like, it used to be more freedom, more being able to do whatever you wanted. Um, I don't know. Now it's all about, the advertisement, and you have to be like family friendly, and like if you're not meeting the exact guidelines they want them to, they punish you. And it's all about algorithms, and getting people to like watch your stuff, or if they're not watching it exactly when it comes out and for the right amount of time, all of the engagement and stuff. So it's just like really annoying. So a lot of people, that's where they're leaving. They feel like they can't do what they want to do because their content maybe isn't like aligned with the way YouTube wants things to be now, which is really lame. And then just the fact that a lot of them are like tired. They've just been doing this for years, like nonstop. And that's one of the things that MatPat said. He said that he's been doing this nonstop. It's always just work, business talk all the time. And he wants to kind of like step back from that and do like more passion projects, and kind of like hang out with his son more, stuff like that. So it's just really crazy, honestly.
Hmm. It really is, man. I grew up with him too, so that's like why it actually sucked. Because, man, goodbye, Matt Pat.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying the same thing, that they kind of grew up with him, or like they really like were just so used to like his channels, and it kind of sucks that he's stepping down now. And I mean, at least the good thing is that his channels aren't going away; they'll still be around,
Hmm.
but it's definitely going to be different, which is always like really lame. And that's what I'm saying. It just really sucks how just stuff changes. You know what I mean? Like, I still remember that my favorite YouTube channel was, first it was called like Two Best Friends Play, and it was like these two dudes from Canada, and they would like make all these funny videos, and they were a part of, Machinima, all this good stuff, right? And
Yeah.
then it kind of grew to it was like Super Best Friends Play, because they had two more guys join them, right? And they just grew in what they were doing. And even when Machinima was gone, they still had like their own channel and their own website, and they would go to conventions. And even though I think the most they ever reached was like 750,000 subscribers, but their reach was like incredible, where they like knew everybody, and everybody knew who they were basically. And a bunch of stuff, you could almost say got localized thanks to them, like Metal Wolf, Chaos, that game by the people who make Dark Souls. It was like one of their first games
Oh
they made.
yeah.
It's like super goofy, the one about the president in a mech. Oh my god.
Oh, I've
Anyway,
seen that.
and then
Yeah.
stuff like Yakuza, because their LPs really expose a lot of people to it, and like all this stuff. Like, they had a lot of pull, they had a lot of influence, even though they weren't like ever like the hugest channel. It's crazy how many people knew them. It was one of those things where like they were like your favorite YouTuber basically. And
Yeah.
when they broke up, in 2018, I still remember it was December 2018. I want to say it was like December 19th, 2018 or something like that. They broke up because basically the two main dudes, they like weren't really getting along anymore. They weren't really friends, and they wanted to like break it off here and like end it before things got ugly. I mean, I think it was a really good choice. And even though they all still have like their own projects and they all do their own things and stuff, it just sucks that it's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, long story short, what I'm trying to get at is that, yeah, it just sucks to see when you like get so used to these YouTube channels, these user personalities, you like, they become something you watch, and it just sucks to see them be like, yeah, I'm kind of done now. I'm walking away from all of that. It's just really sad, you know what I mean? So, damn. It
Yeah.
sucks to see another big one just call it quits and move on, but wish him the best. And,
Hmm.
I guess we'll have to see what happens in the future and what kind of passion projects he puts out and how it goes, his channels without him, that sort of thing. So,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah.
MatPat, wish him the best, and kind of like I said, we'll have to see what the future holds, I guess. So,
Yeah.
moving on to some more happy news, I guess. These next two, at least, they're a little more happy. It's stuff to look forward to, stuff that's coming up soon. The first one, I don't know if you've heard about this game, but as the title of the article states, Palworld launches in early access on January 19 for Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh yeah, I know about this.
Oh my God. I don't remember if we ever talked about this, but yes, there's this game called Palworld that it basically looks like it's trying to be like an edgy version of Pokemon that's like making fun of it. Or like there's like the pals have guns and you kind of make them work like in a sweatshop. And I think there's even like some pals that like everyone kind of like looks at Pokemon like with some eyebrows raised at some of the designs, right?
Yeah.
But like here they're purposely leaning into it where there's some designs that definitely look like they're like, kind of weird. And like,
Yeah.
oh my God, yeah, basically the game's gonna come out like super soon. It'll just be really interesting to see how this game works because it looks like all of the jokes that people have made about Pokemon, like, what if you had like a gun to like fight and like all of the weird, Pokemon designs that look kind of like, like I said, it kind of makes you raise some eyebrows and the stuff about your Pokemon basically being, like used for like hard labor, just funny stuff like that. Like they're leaning into all of that. So
Bro,
I don't know, man. I really want to play it when it comes out. I'm
it
really
looks
interested how this
badass.
it looks what?
It looks badass.
Yeah, it looks funny. It looks interesting. I'm hoping it's a good game. I hope it really does take the piss out of Pokemon. Like,
That
I
would be
don't know. I,
funny.
I just I just really, really want to check it out when it comes. And it's coming really soon too. So like, oh man, I just hope it's really good.
That's gonna be crazy, bro.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's gonna be on, PC and Xbox. It's kind of unfortunate that if you look at the article we're gonna link in the description below, they ask if it's gonna come to like PS5, and they say they don't have any plans for it at the moment. So who knows? Maybe if it does well enough, they'll put it on other systems. But for now, it looks like it's just on like Xbox and PC. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope that if it does well enough, hopefully they put on more consoles so that everybody can know, the glory that is Pal World.
Yeah, Pal World.
Oh my God, this game looks super nuts, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Dude,
And it
that's
comes out really soon. It
crazy.
comes out pretty soon too. So that's what I was saying. That like, oh man, it looks like stuff's gonna start to pick up this year. So Pal World is just around the corner. I'm gonna check
Yeah,
it out when
man.
it comes out,
I'm gonna
man.
check it
I
out
hope
too.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good, man. Oh my God.
A Pikachu with a pistol would be great.
Oh God, just a gun. That reminds me of when South Park made fun of Pokemon, like, oh man, way back in the day. And it was called like Chin Pokemon. And then there was like a
Yeah.
Pikachu that just had a gun. It literally just looked like a little Pikachu, but without like the ears. It looked like his ears were like cut off, and then he just had a gun.
Damn.
And that was they making fun of Pikachu. It was like so stupid. I just remember that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, there you go, guys. If you're interested, check out Power World.
Yeah, I recommend it too.
Yeah. All right, and then for our last news story, another thing to look forward to. Once again, I don't know if anyone cares for any of this. Sometimes I feel like I'm just speaking for myself. I'm just, yelling into the ether. But as the title of the article states, Dorohedoro anime gets sequel as streaming series. So, yep, I'm not sure how many people saw this show when it came out, But originally there was this show that came out in 2020 and it was called Dorohedoro. And it's this really interesting series where there's this guy and his name is 𝐼𝐚𝐽, kind of like the type of, alligator crocodile thing, a 𝐼𝐚𝐽. And he's this guy whose head is a lizard guy. And he has this friend that her name is Nikaido, and she runs like a little what was it? What were the things that she makes again? Like those little oh my God, what is the food she makes? I am not remember right now. But the point is she has like this little restaurant, right? And he always goes
Yeah.
and he hangs out with her. And he doesn't know why he has a reptile head. He has amnesia. He's been like cursed, blah, blah, blah. All he knows is that he remembers that it was like a wizard that did it, right? It was like one of these people that does magic. And so there's like this other world you can go to, and it's called like the Hole.
Oh
And
wow.
he's trying to like hunt down what sorcerer, cursed him or whatever. And there's this like whole faction of this guy, and his name is N, and he has like this like power of like mushrooms, and he can like turn people into mushrooms and like all sorts of crazy mushroom powers, right?
Yeah.
And he's like the head sorcerer guy, he's kind of almost like a mafia boss, and he has these people that work for him, and their names are Noi and oh my God, what's the name of Noi's partner? I'm forgetting right now. God dang, man. But the point is, you meet his team. They're what they call cleaners. They're like assassins. And it's like so interesting because like no one in this series is necessarily like a good guy. Everyone's kind of like out for themselves and doing all these crazy things.
Everyone's
But
outlaws.
huh?
Everyone's like outlaws or like what?
Yeah, it's basically everyone's an outlaw because you have these sorcerers, but they're kind of almost like a mafia family. And then you have Kaimon and Mikado, but they're also like fighting people. They're not exactly like heroes either. But it's just so interesting. And it's like so fun to like follow everybody and this little like war they have between, sorcerers and like this other world of people who don't have powers and like I don't know, it's like so interesting, man. But it's like such an interesting series. It's super stylized, like super gritty, and seeing like the different powers and how they're used is really interesting. And then, like I'm saying, I forget what Noise partner's name is. I'm gonna just look it up real quick. What is Noise partner's name? Um, but like basically it's really interesting because like they have like this really fun partnership going on, and like their designs are like really interesting. And let's see, what is Shin? Yeah, it's Shin. Shin is her partner. Shin is the guy that he wears this like mask. It looks like it's like a heart, like a literal like human
Oh,
heart.
yeah, I
And
see
then
it.
Noi has this mask that looks like she's like a gimp. And they're just like these like cleaners, they're like these like hitmen for Noi's cousin N, who has like the mushroom powers. And like I say, it's just like a weird world with weird like powers and like weird like everyone just, like it's so strange and like gritty and like really like dirty where like the whole is basically like these slums, right? But just seeing all these people and like everything that they do is like so interesting. Like there's not really like a hero. Like I said, everyone's just kind of like really weird, but it's just so interesting. It's just such a really fun series to watch. And there's like this whole mystery too of like, who cursed Kaimon and all of these different like factions and people doing stuff. And it's just really interesting, man. It's just like it's really fun. I don't really know how to describe it, but
Yeah,
it's just really fun. What's up?
this series sounds pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, it's really, really
Hmm.
fun. And it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where like like it was 2020. It had its, first season. It was like 12 episodes, I think. It was a lot of fun. But then after that, it's like, okay, what else is there to what else is there? Is there gonna be more? I'm hoping more people watch it or whatever. But then it didn't really go anywhere. And now it's crazy that we're finally getting more. So it took a while, but we're finally getting a season two. So good stuff, you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I think it's gonna be fun. I really recommend looking at, checking it out. It's like this really cool fantasy kind of horror-ish um action series, you know what I mean? So I think it's really fun. I think it's really cool. And man, I'm just looking forward to this second season. And I hope that it, covers more of the manga. We'll see how far it gets, but maybe as I'm waiting, depending on how long this is going to take, maybe I'll finally jump into the manga. I think it is done at this point. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys, and there you have it. That is our news for this week. As you can see, three news stories that are all pretty interesting. All of them leave us wondering about looking towards the future to see what the future has to hold. One of them is a little more on the sad side, which, but at least the other two are more of a hey, there's a fun game coming out, there's a fun anime that's coming out soon, stuff to look forward to. So, overall, three stories that I thought were pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Alrighty, jumping over to the next part of the episode, I wanted to do my anime, fall 2023 roundup. That'll be like our little topic of the week sort of thing. So I have one, two, three, four, five, six. I have six different shows to talk about that I watched this season. And I will, at the end, mention some that maybe I didn't watch, but I had heard some things about them. So I'll kind of throw
Yeah.
those out there. But beginning from the top, the first anime that I watched this fall 2023 season that I wanted to talk about was Spy Family Season 2.
Nice.
Yes. Now, Spy Family, I feel like at this point, just about everybody has probably heard of it. It's been pretty popular, a lot of memes of it, that sort of thing. But in case there's someone who doesn't know what the show is, once again, I'll just give like a really quick synopsis. Basically, this is a world where there is a war between the East and the West. Kind of reminds me of like a whole, West Berlin versus, East Berlin sort of thing, right?
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot of spy, espionages, and there's like a war going on, and the two sides don't trust each other, that sort of thing. That's kind of like the vibes you get. And basically, during this whole war setting or whatever, like I said, espionage is like at its height, right? And
Yeah.
so our main character, or at least one of our main characters, is this man called Lloyd. He is this super, great spy who they give him a mission that he needs to infiltrate this academy because one of the people he needs to get intel on, he has a son in this academy and he never really shows himself in public or anything. The only times that you ever really see him present is when he goes to the academy. No, excuse me. Sorry. The only time he's ever really present is when he like shows up at the academy for things involving his son. And so they kind of tell Lloyd, you need to infiltrate the school somehow and, get closer to this guy. That way we can get like intel on him and from him and stuff. And so as part of this, Operation Strix, Lloyd decides that he needs to create a fake family so that he can enroll his child in this academy and use that to get closer to this guy. And of course, Lloyd, super secret spy, he adopts this child from an orphanage. Her name is Anya,
Oh yeah.
that she is a telepath. And she doesn't tell anybody that she's a telepath. That's what she's hiding. And, he adopts her and, she becomes his daughter. And then, of course, it's going to look suspicious, I guess, if it's just him and this, daughter he has, and he's like a single father. He decides that it would be better if they had some sort of like a mother figure in the picture. So there's this girl that her name is 𝐤𝐤, that she is an assassin, this super, hardcore assassin, like almost superhuman, right? And basically, because she's at an age where she's not married yet, and she works at like town hall, and all of her coworkers are like kind of questioning her and like, what's up with her private life, this and that. Like she's kind of suspicious. She doesn't want anybody to know she's an assassin. So somehow Lloyd and her, become involved. He asks her to marry him. That way she could, be his wife and be like a mother to Anya or whatever. And she agrees. So we have this family of a super secret spy, a telepath, an assassin that Anya, because she's a telepath, she knows the identity of Lloyd and 𝐤𝐤, but Lloyd and 𝐤𝐤 don't know anything about Anya's past, and they don't know anything about each other. And so it's, a whole bunch of hijinks about this little makeshift family that they are keeping secrets from each other, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the last season, they even got a dog that he has he's a precog. He can actually, see the future. So that's pretty interesting.
That was pretty
And
funny.
yeah, it's this like this big old hairy dog called Bond with a little bow tie. So, they're a little happy family, or at least they're trying to be. And the whole point is all about them and keeping secrets from each other while doing all their, secret spy stuff and all that, and trying to, get closer as a family. Or, they're not really trying to get close as a family. They say they're only doing it, kind of to keep appearances, for like the mission. But obviously, as you would expect, over time they are, falling like more for each other, more in love with each other as a real family, right?
Hmm.
And so the second season, it's just more of that, it's just more of them, and all of these different, missions. And, like there's a really cool arc where we focus on Yor, that she's being a bodyguard on this cruise ship. And we get to see her, dealing with, trying to do her mission of being a bodyguard while protecting, this lady from these assassins that are trying to get her. And we see Lloyd, and he's kind of dealing with Anya because, as far as they know, Yor is doing like work stuff, but Anya knows that, Yor is doing like bodyguard work and like all these hijinks, right? And it's
Hmm.
just a lot of fun. And then we get all these, little missions here and there of, jobs that Lloyd has to do, but he has to try to do it without his like family finding out, that sort of thing. And it's just a lot of stuff like that. The best way people
Hmm.
described it, because they would come out on Saturday mornings. They're like, "Oh my God, it's almost like a fun, Saturday morning cartoon, basically." That's kind of like the thought
uh,
about it. I mean, it's a little more hardcore because even though Lloyd and Yor are like super, oh, they love Anya, and they're trying to be good parents, and like there's a lot of comedy from like Anya because she's like a little kid and stuff. When Lloyd and Yor are on the job, oh my God, they like freaking kill people left and right. It's like super
oh, they go
hardcore.
really crazy on them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
go like hardcore, man. Jesus Christ. But yeah, mostly even though they just have like the action and stuff like really like amps up like that, for the most part, it really is like a fun like Saturday morning cartoon is the best way to describe it. And yeah, this season was basically more about that, more about just the family trying to like keep up the operation or whatever. All of the different members having their secrets and doing their secret stuff. More about Anya at school, and Lloyd wants her to do better because if she becomes like a scholar, then he can get closer to like his target, that sort of thing. And yeah, we just see more of how they are bonding more as a family, even though they, Lloyd tells himself, oh, it's just for like the mission, this and that, and like, you know. So it was just a lot of fun. I really recommend it. I really enjoyed it. I would give it, like a 9 out of 10, pretty easily. And yeah, it was just a whole lot of fun. Those 12 episodes just went way too quickly. You know what I mean? It was just way too quick.
Damn.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I thought it was really good. It's on Crunchyroll. I think it's also on Netflix in some like regions, I think. I'm not too sure. And yeah, it's just really fun. Like if you have not watched it before, I recommend checking it out. It's a whole lot of fun. The action's really good, the comedy's really good, the characters are like really fun, and there's like some like emotion to them, and like the whole family thing and everything. And it's just really, really good. I just hope that this keeps getting more seasons and we get more of the story adapted because it's just really, really well done. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Hey, you've watched
Because
some of it too, huh?
I'm watching the first season actually.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it's a lot of fun. I recommend it. As you can see, Legend of Jonathan, I think he recommends it. So there you
I
go.
definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, Spy Family. Let's hope there's some more. Then the second one I watched, I remember, oh my God, I remember when I first talked about this.
Oh
This
yeah,
anime
same.
is so crazy. It is like kind of like cursed in a way because it's so weird, but it's like so like good at the same time, which I'm gonna get to in a moment. I'm talking, of course, about the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. And for anyone who needs a little recap of like, what's this one about again? Even though the title should kind of give it away. There's this guy. His name is Rentaru. Rentaru, like Ataru. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, his name is Rentaru. And he is this guy that he got rejected 100 times in a row. Like every girl that he confessed to, she rejected him. And just
Damn.
when he was feeling really down, really sad, really depressed, he goes to like this shrine and he's kind of like wondering, what's wrong with his life or whatever. And he's wishing for a girlfriend. And then the god of the shrine appears and tells them that, oh, due to me making a mistake, because I was like watching some anime and I was like filling out your form about like how many, about your soulmate or whatever. I made a mistake and accidentally put you're gonna have 100 soulmates instead of just one, like a normal person. And so yeah, good luck with that, kid. When you like lock eyes with, these different girls, you're gonna feel like this spark, and that's gonna tell you that they're your soulmate.
That's
And
so.
yeah, you need to like also not reject any of them because like if you reject like your soulmate or whatever, something about because he has so many too, it's like a weird luck thing. Um, like you need to like, go along with it and not like turn them down because it'll like give them like super bad luck and they'll like die or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's super nuts. And so basically it's like, yeah, so good luck with that. And so, like in the first episode, he meets his first two. One of them is this like super bubbly girl with pink hair, and she's like super rich, right? Super like, like super like thick or whatever. And the other one's like total
Damn.
opposite. She's like super like twiggy, and she's super tsundere or whatever. And you know what I mean? So like two total opposites, but they both fall for him. He of course confesses to both of them. They both become his girlfriends because of course.
Yeah.
And then from there, every episode, well, not every episode, because first I feel like they introduce the girl, it kind of shows him bond with the girl, have a moment with her, get to know her, and then she like joins the harem, and then they're hanging out, that sort of thing, and then he'll meet another girl, same thing, he'll get to know her, they'll fall in love, blah blah blah. He introduces her to the group, rinse and repeat. And yeah, during this first season, he gets six girlfriends, I believe, which already sounds crazy, but there's like 94 more to go. So like, goddamn,
Bro's catching them like Pokemon.
basically. And that's the thing that's what it's so like weird because the premise is so stupid. And it's so like there's some moments that just kind of make you go like, oh my God, like I need to like watch this with like headphones because like I can't let people see me watching this sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, the crazy part is that they kind of make it work because Rentaru is like a really good guy. All of the polygamy aside, I guess. Um, he's like a really good guy where he'll like actually get to like know these girls and he'll like really like care about them. Like the third girlfriend he gets, for instance, it's this like super shy girl that she like works in the library, right? And she doesn't talk because she's very shy. And so she uses like a little text to speech sort of thing. No. At first, she doesn't use the text to speech. First, she has like a book. It's her favorite book. And she'll point to like lines in the book. So if she wants to say like, hello, for instance, she'll point to a line in the book where like someone's saying like salutations, that sort of thing, right?
Hmm.
So she talks through the book basically because she's like super shy. And they have the spark. And so he wants to get to know her. So he wants to read her favorite book. That way, he can, relate to her. He can like have that same interest as her, that sort of thing. And when I don't remember what happens to her book, I think it gets messed up or something. He makes the text to speech for her based on like the lines from the book. That way she can like talk, because she's so shy. And every episode is just like that, where he like really does. He doesn't just go like, "Oh man, like this girl's like super hot," and like I'm gonna ask her out, and then like introduce her to the harem. Like he actually does like meet the girl, bother to get to know her, help her with whatever issues she's having, like help her through all that, and then kind of introduce her to like the group and like adds her as like a girlfriend sort of thing.
That sounds like Pokemon exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like Pokemon, and like I said, the premise is really dumb. But the fact that he does get to like know all these girls, he actually like really does care about them. And he shows, and there's some actual like emotional stuff with like, each girl. He gets to like know them, helps them with like their insecurities, that sort of thing. It's like oddly touching. So it's like really dumb, and it's like a really weird premise. and it has like those moments that are super like etchy and like out there, but then it has a lot of really good character moments and stuff. And all of the characters are like really interesting, where each girl has like a different look, a different personality, a different, thing going on, that sort of thing. So it's like, damn, it's like really crazy, but it's so good though.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty fun anime.
Yeah, so it's like other harem animes wish they could be this good because other ones are just so tropey and like
It
you
was just a
have like the
pervert.
yawn you have like the the sporty girl, you have the girl who's like a tsundere, you have the girl that's like super nice and like motherly and like stuff like that. But then like that's kind of it, right? And then sometimes it feels
Hmm.
like he doesn't even like really like get to like know the girls or like because like the whole joke is like about him trying to like get with the girls but like not really being with them too, you know what I mean, like stuff like that.
Hmm.
But here it kind of like no, it like turns a lot of stuff on its head because it's like he does get to know the girls, they are all dating the whole group, he has his whole harem and like I don't know, it's like so weird to describe because it feels like it should be like the ultimate shit post, but at the same time like it's deeper than that, so it's like really interesting actually.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun watching it, honestly.
Yeah, so it was a really fun anime. I had a lot of fun watching it. It was 12 episodes that, came and went pretty quickly, honestly. And it already got confirmed, it was already announced there's gonna be a season two.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like really, really quick. Because I guess it was just doing like really, really well. It's like really popular. And yeah, during like the ending song of the last episode, they kind of tease some of the girls that are probably gonna become his like girlfriends in the next season, which is really interesting. It's like that was really fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I recommend it. If you can handle the anime bullshit, because I know not everybody can handle it, but if you can handle the anime bullshit, you're not one to shy away from it. I recommend it because, like I said, even though it's really crazy, it's really good. Actually, it's a really, really well done anime. So yeah, easily give it like a 8.5 out of 10. Really recommend it. And it's on Crunchyroll. So hopefully, it should be pretty easy to find if you're interested.
Noise.
Yeah. All right. From there, moving on to the next one. The next one that I watched was Stardust Telepath.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah, that this one I mentioned like the first episode or two, and then after that, I said I was gonna wait till the end to kind of scram the whole thing. This one is the one where there is a 15-year-old girl named Umika that she is really shy, like super shy. Like she can't really like talk in front of others. She's always, like stuttering and getting all like red and all sorts of things. She's kind of having trouble making friends at the beginning of the series, that sort of thing, because she doesn't have any confidence, right? And all that changes when she meets this girl that says that she is an alien.
Oh, I deal with that every day.
Yeah, yeah. So her name is Yu, and she says that she's an alien and she's super like eccentric and bubbly and like kind of crazy. And she says that she's an alien. And basically, she doesn't remember really anything about her home planet or like why she's here or anything. She just has like little bits and pieces of her memory, but she says that she would like to like go back to her planet or whatever, eventually. And so basically, Umika becomes friends with her. They bond, blah, blah, blah. A little bit of Yuri shipping, a little bit of Yuri bait sort of stuff, right, between them.
Yeah.
And yeah, she says that she promises her that she'll help her get to her planet someday. They'll go to space together. Because the other thing is that because she's so shy, she doesn't really get along with anybody, blah, blah, blah. She also feels that she doesn't belong on this planet. And so she's always had, a fascination with aliens and space. And so she says, I'll help you get to space someday. And, we'll go to space together and I'll find like where I belong, basically. Right.
Yeah.
And so from there, they kind of meet some other girls. They kind of join the group because, as her promise to you that she's going to help her get to space, they decide that they want to build a rocket to get there. And so that's kind of, they have some other girls that join. They have this girl that, what's her name real quick? Let me look it up. They have this other girl that they meet named Haruno that she actually, you can almost say owns the lighthouse that you like sleeps in. Um, and because her grandpa used to
Yeah.
be the lighthouse keeper, and so she's kind of the one that owns it, and they have like their little secret base there, blah blah blah. And Haruno is basically just like super caring about everybody, really like supportive, that sort of thing. So, we got like the really quiet, shy girl, we got the really bubbly, crazy one, we got the one that's like really motherly and caring for everybody, blah blah blah. So, who's left? If it's a group of four, what are we missing?
Um,
Take a guess.
like one more.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure who.
So we're missing the one that obviously has to be the loud, abrasive hothead, right? The kind of tomboy one,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So they have this other girl that they meet, and she joins the group. That her name is Matataki, and she is the one that basically she is a mechanic, and she's like really good with like
Oh my.
building stuff. So of
Yeah.
course she joins the group, and she's gonna help them with the rocket. But she fights them every step of the way because she's all, tsundere, and she's
Okay.
all
Yeah.
hot-headed, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, this group of four, this is where it kind of changes. That the whole time okay, it's about this girl and they're gonna help her get to space, blah blah. And when they introduce the thing about the rockets, it starts that they start making these little bottle rockets, and then from there they make the other rockets that are a little more, electrical, and the ones that actually use like a little base and like a remote control to like launch and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So out of nowhere, this becomes one of those series where you're actually following these four girls doing a club activity, which I did not expect. Because you know how there's always all those anime where it's like, oh, these girls have a band because it's like their after school activity, or there's these girls that they're doing what's another one? Like they're doing some sort of a sport, right? Because it's
Yeah.
their after school activity, right? It's always like one of those types of animes, right? So it's funny because out of nowhere, before I realized it, it's like, oh, it's one of those anime. The only difference is that on other ones, they're just doing the hobby because they like it and they kind of want to like make compete in it and be the best in that area. It has kind of like the setup that they're doing it because they want to get really good at making rockets to help this alien girl. So that's where it kind of has a little bit of a twist because usually you don't have that. Usually they're just doing the club activity because like that's what they love, right? But here it's
Hmm.
like there's like a reason for it, which is kind of interesting, which is kind of funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically it's another one of those cute girls doing cute things anime where it's just about these four girls making rockets, trying to get better at it. That way they can help this alien girl. And like I said, there's some Yuri bait between Umika and you. And yeah, it's all about Umika coming out of her shell a little bit and becoming more confident because they make her like the club president, chairperson, whatever. And yeah, just making friends and all this stuff. So, yeah.
Wow. That sounds pretty. This anime sounds pretty interesting by the end. You know.
It's pretty good. It's cute. It's interesting. That has like that twist of the whole alien thing. The whole time, I can't help but wonder: is she really an alien, or is she just like pretending? Maybe she has amnesia, but she's like a normal human. Because she talks really weird. And there's this thing where you and Umika, they touch foreheads, and supposedly like they can like talk telepathically. But I'm just
Oh, that's
wondering
cool.
I'm wondering if that's not really a power, and it's just like I said, it's just like a weird, love connection or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like, is she really an alien? Does she maybe like think she's an alien, but she's not? I don't know. But still, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Wasn't like revolutionary, doesn't like change the game or anything, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. And we got to see them build bottle rockets and learn about, rockets and a little bit of how you make them and stuff. So that was pretty interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That sounds
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, Stardust Telepath, 12 episodes over on Crunchyroll. In Japanese, it's called Hoshikuzu Telepath because I think if you try to look it up somewhere, sometimes it's not always the English title. So
Hmm.
Hojisuku Telepath. And yeah, I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it's like the best this season, but I had fun and I thought it was cute. And I wonder if they'll make more, or wonder if it's just a one and done. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they make another one.
Yeah, I like when they adapt things further, kind of sucks when it's just like a one and done sort of thing, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
After that, the other one that I watched, that this one I don't think I ever mentioned in previous weeks, but I picked it up at some point and watched it. It's this anime called Under Ninja. And no, it does not have a Japanese title. That's just what it's called. That's kind of what makes it interesting. This one is a really weird one. Like it's really, really weird. Watched the whole thing, and I'm still not completely 100%, sure that I understand the plot. It's like really strange, but I'll explain that in a moment. Basically, what you gotta know is that there is this guy, our main character, his name is Koru. And basically, he is a ninja. Because the way
Yeah,
this world works is that it's a universe where during World War II, I guess like ninja were used almost as these like spy assassins or whatever. And then they kind of got disbanded or whatever. But they didn't really ever go away. They've kind of just been like in hiding. They're like an underground sort of like society agency sort of thing. So think about them kind of as like, they're assassins slash spies. So think about them if they were kind of like, what's a good, oh, I know a good comparison. Think about the Kingsmen, right?
oh,
Kingsmen,
hmm,
they're like this secret society, right?
yeah,
And they're like
yeah,
assassins and there's like different factions everywhere, stuff like that.
yeah,
It's kind of
yeah,
like that, but they're just like in Japan, right? There's like supposed to be like 200,000 ninjas all over the place, basically, right?
yeah. Hmm.
And basically this guy, Koru, he gets hired that he needs to infiltrate this high school. That's like his mission. And when the episode starts, it's him and these three other it's three or four. I think it's three other like classmates of his in high school that they are his like fellow ninja, and they're looking across the building at these girls that have the like Yaru makeup, and they're supposed to
Yeah,
be like this rival like faction or something, and they're gonna fight.
damn.
And here's where it gets confusing though. And like I said, that's where I'm not really too sure of everything. That's where I will take some points off. It's kind of weird. They jumps back and forth a lot. Like you get flashbacks and then comes back and then another, it's all over the place. That's where it's kind of confusing. But
No, that's weird.
basically, it shows kind of, when he first got hired, and it shows how what brought everybody together is that there's this guy from Russia that came over to Japan because they had like his daughter hostage, and they told him that he had to like meet a ninja or something, like infiltrate the ninjas in order for his daughter to like not get killed or something. And so he's looking for a ninja. In order to do so, he's like attacking these people, which I won't spoil. You'll kind of have to watch it for yourself. And that's what kind of gets him like on everybody's radar. And so this guy Koru, at first he kind of gets hired that he needs to like take this guy down or whatever. I think the flashbacks kind of show, like when he got hired, and then like this guy's story, and then the other people that were his classmates, as you're progressing the episodes, then it'll come back here and it'll kind of show when they're fighting the Yaru girls, right? But then it'll kind of
Yeah.
jump back and it'll kind of show how his different classmates got involved in this whole job and kind of how they were also chasing after the Russian guy, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of all over the place. It's hard to explain. It's one of those things you would have to watch for yourself. It is really interesting though, because it's kind of fun to see this like underground society and like the different missions they go on. They have a bunch of really cool tech because even though they're like, ninjas that you think of more as like old school, I guess it's kind of like Kingsman where like they have all this tech, right? Because they have like this whole society. So like they have
Hmm.
like these cool like hoodies that they wear that they actually turn invisible, like they have camouflage.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, they have like these little like shuriken ninja star things that they can throw that they're like, they have like, they're like they can like come back because they're like remote controlled and stuff. They have like this crazy orbital laser in space that they can like call upon every so often. They have, taser guns. They have like all sorts
Damn.
of like really
Damn, that's
interesting,
crazy.
yeah, they have all sorts of gear and stuff, and like a lot of like crazy disguises and stuff. So like it's weird to describe. The plot is kind of all over the place, which I will take up some points off for. But just seeing like the world building and like the lore and like the action and it was very interesting. So I do recommend it because I do think it's a very cool experience. But I just do think it's a very weird, like it's all over the place the way the story's told, and it's just very strange the way it's like presented. I feel like they
Yeah.
could have presented it better and it could have been a little more less nonsensical, you
Yeah.
know? And like the way it ends was like really weird for me too, where I'm kind of like, I don't really know if I like the ending necessarily. I don't know. But it was a fun ride. It was an interesting experience. And like I said, just seeing like the different lore and the world building and like the characters and like their tech and like the missions and the way everything builds up was pretty cool. So I would still recommend it, but I probably would give it like a 7 out of 10, you know, maybe like a 6.75 out of 10.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. And again, it's on Crunchyroll, 12 episodes, a lot of them they've been like this, pretty simple, standard stuff. So there you go. Under Ninja. Very, very strange experience.
It sounds
Uh
very weird.
yeah, it's really weird, but it was still enjoyable. I still had a enjoyable time with it. So, if it sounds interesting to you, check it out.
I think I'm gonna check it out, honestly.
Yeah. Alrighty, the weirdness does not stop. The train just keeps going. The
Oh
next one I
boy.
watched, there's another one that I don't think I ever mentioned, in previous weeks, but I picked it up at some point. It is called 6-Bit Sensation Another Layer. And the best way to describe this one, it's Steins Gate if it had to do with making video games,
Uh,
specifically like visual novels.
damn.
So there's this girl. Her name is Konoha, and she loves Bishoujo games, which are, kind of like games like, like visual novels, that sort of thing, with a lot of, a lot of cute girl heroine designs, that sort of thing. And she's super into it. And she's like a really she's, like this artist, and out of nowhere, she first she tries to like go get like a job, right? And it's like really harsh, dealing with like this genre and dealing with like the industry and like things don't really go the way she had imagined, right?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, she gets thrown back to 1992.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's weird, right? But basically, in current day 2023, the industry, it's not doing very well. It's very hard to get into, and it's not what she thought it was going to be, blah blah blah. She gets thrown back to 1992, and she is at the peak of when Bishoujo games were becoming popular. And so she joins this, studio called Alcohol Soft, and
Oh.
she becomes their illustrator. And it's all about her helping them become, like a great industry, like a pioneer in this genre. Because she has knowledge from the future, she can kind of help bring that back, right?
Hmm.
So where it becomes, like I said, kind of like Steins Gate, which if you guys know, it's about time travel and timelines and kind of trying to fix things because time travel is tricky. As she's traveling back and forth, because eventually she is able to travel not just back, but back and forth. As she's helping this company with making these games that she loves so much, she kind of starts screwing up the timeline a bit. And so I'm not going to spoil it too much. You have to watch it for yourself. But basically, it is, like I said, Steins Gate about visual novels because there's a bunch of back and forth, throughout time, her doing stuff, and she's happy, but then it has repercussions and it kind of ruins things. And she tries to fix it, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes this whole just adventure, this whole just thing about, time travel and, timeline stuff. And, you messed it up. And so you have to like fix it. And like, I don't know. It is just so weird. It goes in some places where it's like, wasn't this about making games? Like, where did it become more than that? Where did it become so sci-fi? And where did it become like, oh my God, it's just
That's
weird.
weird.
I like it. It's fun. Um, it's fun and it's, there's like some comedy that's pretty good, and seeing the games that they're making and stuff is interesting, and all that. But oh my God, it just goes in some weird places. It's just so like, who thought it would like it's like I said, it's like, weren't we like wasn't this about like going in the past and like making the games you always wanted to? Like, where did all this other stuff come from? Like, where did it become like higher stakes than that?
They
It's
try to
just
make it more deep.
like not even like yes, deep. It becomes all about like humans and like imagination and creativity and like, oh my God, it's weird. It's crazy, but it's fun, and it was kind of cool. Like I said, seeing them make all these games, and the time travel was like fine, I guess. It was kind of fun seeing her like jump around and having to fix things, I guess, and like I don't know. It's strange. You'd have to watch it for yourself. There's a lot I want to talk about, but I don't want to spoil it, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is 16-bit sensation, another layer. This one was kind of funny. It was 13 episodes. It felt like being a rebel, I guess. Instead of 12, they wanted to be 13 episodes.
Uh,
Yeah, it was also over on Crunchyroll. And I guess I would give it like a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. You know, it's fine. Again, nothing like super like revolutionary or like out there. It kind of gets weird and like kind of makes you go like, huh? Scratch your head a little bit. But it's enjoyable enough. I liked it enough. I thought it was fun. So check it out if you like sci-fi stuff and stuff about time travel and like workplace and the game industry, I guess.
yeah.
So there you go.
Nice.
All right, and finally, the last anime I want to talk about. It's another one that I had not mentioned before, but I picked it up along the way. It is a little anime. I shit you not. It's called Shy.
Damn.
SHY, all capitals. It's called Shy.
That's creepy.
And the best way to describe it, someone used this as an insult, but and I get it. It's not going to be for everybody. You guys will see why in a moment. But, they use it as an insult, but I'll just kind of steal it and say the best way to describe this anime, it's like if it was Miraculous Ladybug, but the main character is Boshi from Boshi the Rock.
Uh,
Like the whole reason that it's called Shy is because it stars this girl that she is called Shy. That's her superhero persona.
bruh.
Because she is shy. Like she has crippling anxiety to talk to people.
Uh,
So that's why it's called Shy. Like, and that's her superhero name too, which I think is really funny. But yeah, basically it takes place in a universe where all the countries of the world, they have a hero that represents them. So United States has like this, general looking soldier guy. Russia has this girl that, she's blonde and has like this like, how can you describe it? Like this like cape. Kind of think of like a mariner captain, right?
yeah.
Yeah, she has like kind of like a hat like, that looks like that and like a cape. And there's like I think Mexico, no, not Mexico. What was the country that had like a was it Mexico had like a mass wrestler? Like I'm sure it is, but I just don't
And
remember.
Polly is Mexico.
Yeah, it was probably Mexico had like this like masked wrestler, and like every country has a different hero with like their own unique like gimmick and appearance and stuff. And basically Shy, she's the representative of Japan. And it's this world where like you have like these bracelets you put on, and they would allow you to like transform back between like your civilian appearance and like hero appearance. And it helps you like manifest like your powers based on like the power of like your heart and stuff, blah blah blah. And so someone used it as an insult. They say like, oh, it's like miraculous ladybug, if it starred, Boshi the Rock. Um, it's not gonna be for everybody because it is very, like villain of the week. And it is very like, oh, it's all about, like friendship and like believing in yourself and like, the girl, she like helps people in kind of like a way that people might, they might get turned off because it's like it's too like I don't know, girly, I guess you could say, and like
Bruh.
I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. Like I can see why it doesn't appeal to everybody. Like I get it, right? But I just thought it was a lot of fun, and I just thought it was like really nice, and I thought it was really like cute and stuff, and I thought Shy was a really interesting character. I thought her design's really cute. Like basically, she wears like I don't even know why, but like the best way to describe it, think of like Deku. Think of like the
Yeah.
little outfit he wears when he
Yeah.
puts the little hood on, right? It has like little ears. And
Yeah.
he has like a little like what do you call it? Like a little gas mask looking thing. When she
Hmm.
puts on you know how he doesn't really put like the little mask part on, right? He has it almost like his little collar. She has a thing just like that. She has like a little black collar thing that's like a little like mask, and she has like a little hood that has like little ears. It looks like she has like a little little like bunny ears.
Oh,
It,
that's yeah.
yeah, it's really funny. And then she has like a little white mask over her eyes, like a little domino mask. And then she has like a little like suit and it has like the little like things on the back. It look almost like little wings or whatever. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a really interesting outfit though. I think it's like really, really well done. And I don't know, I just thought it was really cool because it's basically about her that, um, she's trying to be the representative of Japan. She's trying to join up with all these other heroes to fight this threat because there's this guy that his name is I think his name is like Stigma. I think that's the name of the main bad guy. I think it was Stigma, right? Yeah, Stigma, and he wants to like take over like the world. He wants to like corrupt everybody, their hearts to darkness because he says that's actually freeing them or whatever, blah blah blah. And so they're trying to fight back against that. And kind of like Miraculous Ladybug, he tries to like corrupt somebody, and then Shy has to come in and help the person out and like free their heart based on like whatever insecurities and like issues they're having, blah blah blah. And I don't know, I just thought it was a lot of fun. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. It's not like we haven't had superhero anime before, but I just thought it was
Yeah.
really interesting with like the whole, each country has like a representative and like, kind of like a monster of like the week sort of thing where like, you're helping all these different people with like their problems and having this, hero that she's like really like insecure and trying to like come onto her own, that sort of thing. Like, I don't know. I think a combination of a lot of stuff I've seen before, but I think the way it like used and put everything together was really well done, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, because this anime sounds pretty cool. It kind of gives
Yeah,
me like
yeah.
Marvel Comics vibes.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really cool. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was like cute. I thought it was, like heartwarming and like nice and like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I can see why a lot of people may wouldn't like it, because maybe people feel it's like a bit formulaic. Maybe people, they think the main character is kind of like annoying. Maybe they think it's a little too like, monster of the week about like, oh, we have to help this person by helping, the problems in their heart, I guess. A lot of people just aren't really into that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but I liked it. I had fun with it. I really hope it gets like more, because I'm pretty sure, we might get more. We'll see how that goes. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. And yeah, it's called Shy, which is just really funny. It's just such a simple name.
Name.
And yeah, 12 episodes. I feel like every one I mentioned this season was 12 episodes, except 6-bit sensation. I want to be the rebel and be 13 episodes. But yeah, it's over on Crunchyroll. Easy to find, hopefully, for most people. And I had fun with it. I would give it like a 7.5, 8 out of 10,
Yeah, this anime sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I really liked it. Like I said, I thought all like the different designs and like the world building and like the all the story and stuff and everything. I thought it was really good. I liked it. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys, that is it for all of the anime that I watched. Gave my opinion on it, gave a review of, like the story and where you can find it, how many episodes, that sort of thing. Kind of funny how almost all the anime were Crunchyroll. I just noticed that. There wasn't any on High
Hmm.
Dive this time or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, that wasn't even like planned out or anything. Wonder why that happened. Last thing I want to talk about, just real quick, think about it as kind of like a little speed round, kind of like an honorable mention. These are anime that I have not watched, or at least not yet, but I heard things about them. Um, so obviously there was Rising of the Shield Hero season 3. With how bad season 2 was, it was really boring. I don't know. I mean, I know there's people who are still watching it, they're still enjoying it, so you can feel free to check that out. Probably will pick it up at some point and try to catch up, but I'm not super in a hurry because, like I said, season 2 was pretty weak, honestly, and I'm not like that into the series.
Yeah.
Then there was Goblin Slayer season 2. Same thing. I've kind of watched things here and there. I think it's all right, but I'm not like super into it. But I know it has its fans, so
Oh yeah.
had a second season, maybe it's fine. I don't know. Then there was one that I did not check out yet. Hopefully, maybe when there's like a little bit of a downtime. Because obviously next week I'm gonna be talking about the 2024 winter season. But maybe when we have a little bit of downtime, in weeks after that. One that I did not check out, but I heard a lot of things about. It's called the Apothecary Diaries. That one sounds really interesting. I've heard some good things about it. The art looks it's really nice, that sort of thing. So, it's supposed to be about this girl. She's the daughter of an apothecary. Apothecary is someone that makes like medicines and like potions, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's about her having to be like this maid and like I don't know too much about it, but I just heard it's supposed to be like really interesting and has like drama, has mystery, art style supposed to be pretty good. I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard good things about it. So.
Yeah.
Then another one was Shangri-La Frontier. Basically, it's about this guy that it's kind of, about this guy. He's playing like this like game, right? But
Yeah.
I hear that compared to other ones, it's supposed to be like much more interesting. There's like so many games now. I mean, so many anime series now about someone playing like a video game and they're like overpowered or whatever, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But this one, it's supposed to be interesting because like I hear like he doesn't always like win. Like he's not just like
Oh.
overpowered. And I hear that, it's actually interesting the fights and like his design is that in the game he just has like a big old bird head. So it's not like your typical, oh my God, he's so hot and everyone's like in love with him sort of thing, right? There's supposed to be like more layers to it. There's supposed to be more nuance to it. And I've heard people say it's like really fun. So
It
it's
sounds
supposed to be
pretty
like a good
fun.
fantasy action adventure sort of thing. So I'm gonna check that out at some point. I've heard it's supposed to be pretty good. Um, then what was another one? Oh, there was one that I might check out sometime in the future. It's called Our Dating Story, The Experienced You and the Inexperienced Me. Basically, it's supposed to be about this guy that he asks out this girl. It's really popular. And even though he thinks that she's going to say no, she actually says yes. And it's all about them getting to know one another and date. And especially because I guess she's like had other relationships or whatever. And like, I don't know. I don't know. It's supposed to be kind of interesting. I know a lot of people liked it. I know a lot of people were kind of shading on it because they're like, oh, like she's for the streets and like she's like used goods. And they were like being like really like, ugh, like,
Damn.
yeah, people, I don't know, man. They're being kind of like, but I think it was supposed to be interesting. I mean, I heard it's supposed to be kind of good from people who actually watched it and aren't total, weirdos who think that way. So, you know.
Hmm.
And then what else? I know there was like at least like two other ones that were supposed to be pretty interesting. What were they? I'm kind of scrolling through. What was it? What was it? Oh, another one that I heard about, not because it was good, but because people were just like saying it was like so weird. There is one that apparently it's about an otaku that he ate some bad like pork and he gets isekai'd as a pig.
Oh, I've heard about yeah, I've heard about
It's
this one.
supposed to
Yeah.
be super like weird, like cringy, right?
Yeah, I've heard it's really like gross at times. Like,
Yeah. I kind of want to check it out just because like when I hear something like that cringe and like that trash, I'm like, okay, I have to know. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's called
yeah,
Buddha the story of a man who turned into a pig. I don't know, man. At some point I might just check that out because I might be curious about like how bad is it? You know,
bro got bro
how what?
bro got tapeworm and he woke up in a whole different universe.
Basically, man.
Yeah.
Basically. Oh my God, basically. And then where was it? Oh, another one that's supposed to be good. It's called Overtake. That it has to do with F4 racing,
Oh, that sounds
which
interesting.
is kind of like F1 racing, like the super
Hmm.
fast cars. It's supposed to be like that, but like more amateurish. I've heard it's supposed to be
Yeah,
actually pretty interesting. It's another one of those like, ooh, get into like this sport and learn all about it sort of thing. You know what I
that's what I'm
mean?
saying. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I might check that out at some point. And what else? What else? Oh, I heard there was one that people were criticizing. They said it was like really weird. It was called A Girl and Her Guard Dog. Basically, this girl that I think she's like, yeah, part of like a Yakuza family, and she has this bodyguard, and it's this guy. It's like 26 years old, while she's only like 14, 15, I think. And he's like her bodyguard, but then like they fall in love, so it's like a love story. So people were like, "That's kind of sus. That's kind of weird."
Yeah, that's
So yeah, I think people were like not very into it. I think it got rated really low. So just throwing it out there, it was supposed to be like a very like questionable one. And I think that was all of the ones that I like really, really heard about. You know what I mean? Anything else? I mean, it was either like it was probably like not that interesting. That's why I didn't get mentioned, or maybe it just like passed me by. But those are like the ones that like I heard that like, oh, like that they're supposed to be pretty good, or they're like so bad that people are talking about them, that sort of thing. So those are ones that maybe at some point I'll check them out. So keep an eye out. Maybe I'll mention them at some point. You never know. But for
yeah.
this season, those are the ones I watched. Those are the ones I enjoyed. These are other ones that I heard interesting things about. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So overall, fall 2023 was a busy one and it was a pretty interesting one. There was a lot of stuff to watch and even some stuff that I might watch in the future. So not a bad anime season.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. But that's it, guys. There you have it. That is going to be our podcast for this week. Hopefully I mentioned something that you guys want to check out now. Something you guys want to watch. Same thing with stuff that Legend of Jonathan mentioned. If you're not into Urusei Yatsura during the Franxx, hopefully him talking about it makes you want to check it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last thing before we go, I guess, is what is something that you might try to get into so you can bring it to the table next week?
Um, I'm not really sure, but I have heard because I have seen the pilot when it came out a few years back. I might try to get into Has-Been's Hotel when it drops because I know it drops soon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was thinking
Hmm.
about that too. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's supposed to come out like on the 19th or something, right? Yeah, I would be
Yeah,
really interested in watching that too. I've heard that, oh, it's finally coming out and what has all the hubbub been about? Because for the longest time it
yeah.
was been just the pilot. Yeah, yeah, that might be interesting to
Hmm.
check out. I'll definitely try to see about that one too. I hadn't even thought about that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, and there's
Nice.
also some news going around real quick that there's this guy that he has a channel my friend 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐤 used to watch where he
Uh-huh.
makes these cringy beatbox battles between different characters. Like for
I've
example,
never heard of that.
yeah, I know it's not that popular honestly. It's like more
Oh,
for
okay.
kids, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Literally, the content is crazy. It'll have like Pennywise versus like the Joker. It'll have Patrick versus Goofy.
So it's supposed to be kind of like a rap battle sort of thing, but it's
Yeah,
beatboxing.
yeah. There's even a meme that went around where it was Vegeta versus Shadow. It like the lines are like terrible.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Basically what happened was this mother he paid 50K bucks for someone to make an animation of him and Charlie from Has-Been's Hotel where she's in love with him and it's like a music video and like she basically pins him down to a bed, and like by the end, I guess it's implied that she's gonna like what him
Wow, he paid 50,000 for that?
for that. And the animation wasn't even like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either.
I mean, why would you pay so much? Oh
That's
my
what I'm wondering,
God.
and it's so weird.
Especially because like 50,000 is so much. I feel like there's people out there you can hire that'll probably make it for you for
Dude, a
like
couple bucks.
no, I mean not that cheap either, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like 50,000 is like at that point you probably could have hired 𝐦𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐺 to have made it for you like herself.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like why
And
50,000? That's
I don't
so
know. And
like oh my God, like that's so much. I can't even like oh my God.
yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
then
Like
what makes it
that's
worse,
like that's dedication right there, dude. Oh my
yeah,
God.
and then what makes it worse is okay, this man has a wife and kids. He has a wife and kids, and then
He
I
spent
had
50,000 that he could have used on his family for that. Oh my
yeah,
God.
and
Damn.
he went bankrupt. He went bankrupt. He announced last month that he wanted his fans involved in his videos because they were short on money for like the quality of the videos, which the quality of the videos is never really great anyways.
Oh
So
my
like
God.
so bro has probably been spending it on small projects, quote unquote, like these.
Oh, that makes it even worse. Like, at least he had the money to go around. But the fact that he's bankrupt now over that. Oh my God. That is so cringe.
I know, right?
That is like simping to another level. Oh
That's
my
like
God.
that's down bad to a complete level. That's like the Super Saiyan 3 of down bad.
Down bad.
Literally. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's probably something I'm gonna try to get into. Not the dude's content. No.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Oh my God.
And then I'm gonna try to watch the rebuild movies because we had been like,
Oh yeah, see at some point. Yeah, we need to get into
hmm
those so we can both
yeah.
talk about them. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
So I'm gonna try to do that too. Yeah.
All right, cool, cool, cool. For me, same thing. We're gonna see about maybe watching Has Been Hotel. I definitely am gonna see about, what anime to bring to the table next week to kind of like, oh, here's kind of some of the ones that have come out for like this season so far. Here's some good ones, that sort of thing. Um, I had heard that I think that game, another Code R.
Oh,
Remember
I've
the
heard of
game we're
that.
talking about, the little
Hmm.
point and click one from the Wii that was finally going to get like the two games are going to be like a collection on Switch or whatever. I
Hmm.
believe that
Yeah.
comes out like on the 19th. If I'm correct, I want to check that out when it comes out as well. Um, yeah, so there's like a few things to like check out for sure. So those are the ones that come to my mind right now, but there's definitely some like, games and, TV shows and anime. There's like a few things that I have on my mind that I want to check out. So, like I said, I'm excited because it looks like this is where we're starting to like, ooh, stuff's starting to come out now. Like let's see, how all this stuff that we've been waiting for a while, let's see how it goes, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we have some stuff that we're hoping to, get into. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're able to get into the stuff and talk about it next week.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so there we have it. This has been our podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoy listening to it. Hopefully, you got something out of it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. We'll try our
Yeah.
hardest to be back next week. And with that being said, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.